It's DSP's Game of the Year Awards, the top 10 best games of 2014. Honorable mention, Super Smash Bros. For the Wii U. Well, this was definitely one of the year's most highly anticipated games, and I had to give it its due here on my countdown, although I didn't give it a spot in my top 10, which again, I bet people will have issue with, but allow me to explain. I know that the graphics of this game are great. Just take a look at the amazing visuals on the Wii U, the fact that you can play with more characters on the screen at once than ever before, the undoubtedly large array of modes that are in the Wii U version, and the excellent selection of characters. I like the game, but I don't love it. Reason being, primarily subjective. I'm a person who's come from a competitive fighting game background, and when I think fighting games, I think a one-on-one combat system where it's kind of almost a 2D plane. Yes, there could be 3D elements, but I'm a more classic, more complex style of fighter. This game to me is like a fun party game, so which I say great, it's fun, it's you know, in that regard I can definitely understand people who like it even to a competitive standpoint, and I definitely can tell you, yeah, it's one of the most best produced games this year. Just look at the amount of stages and the colors and the graphics and the amount of characters. But for me, this is kind of the game that I would sit down and play it a few times, have fun with it, and then kind of get bored. And I'll be honest, the one thing that really kills this game for me is the online play. It lags. If I'm confined to doing one-on-one matches, which honestly isn't the most fun game mode of the game, just to get a decent connection, sorry, but that's where I have to kind of draw the line. And so Smash Brothers, do I like it? Yes. Do I respect it? Absolutely. Should you check it out, especially if you're a fan of previous Smash Brothers games? Yes. But I, in my own judgment, subjectively, could not put it into my top 10 favorite games of the year. However, it was definitely worth an honorable mention. So what took the number 5 spot? That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it's Valiant Hearts. For a game that filled up a really empty time during the summer and ended up kind of being a game that a lot of people glossed over, a lot of people might be surprised to see this game this high and even in my top 10 games of the year in particular at all. But I gotta give the game its due. Valiant Hearts had one of the best stories, the best casts, and highest overall artistic factor of any game that I played in 2014. Taking place during the events of World War I, actually taking both sides, you know, seeing from the perspective of people on both sides of this First World War, seeing the horrors of war firsthand as family members, people, fellow soldiers are dying all around them. And of course, the gameplay itself, awesome 2D style gameplay with some puzzle solving aspects, with some combat and action platforming aspects. Although I'll be honest, the gameplay kind of took a backseat to the story, and having all kinds of historical articles actually included in the game from actual History Channel and other things that really added to the fact that, wow, this is a real war that happened, and these are people who really could have been part of this war, although I'm sure they were fictional characters. It really touches your heartstrings, and of course by the end of the game, which I'm not going to spoil, some crazy events that happen, and it really makes you think about war overall and just what the hell is the point. And any game that makes you stop and say, I'm not playing a game that's just about shooting things, and instead makes you actually consider the fact that there's real war that goes on, and think introspectively to yourself about, you know, should it ever even take place, and is there really a good or bad side in war? The game really touched me, and I thought that it was, you know, again, one of the best artistic experiences of the year. If you haven't checked this game out yet, don't write it off, because it's not a retail release, because, you know, it was by a lesser-known group of developers, and because it has a historical kind of overtone and a historical basis. Just check it out. I think that overall, most people would probably enjoy it, and definitely should give it a go. No, it's not you know, overly emotional just for the sake of being sappy. It actually means something. Much like watching a great movie, that's kind of the feeling that this game left me with, and I think that more people should check it out. Valiant Hearts, number 5 pick for my Game of the Year awards. Up next on the countdown, we're getting down to the nitty-gritty, and this game was one of the most surprisingly good ones of the year. I definitely loved it. I think many other people did too, so check it out.